Hi, Mom.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
Hi, Dad.
Hi.
You can talk now since you haven't been on. Okay, Paul.
Paul,
Hi,
say something.
How you doing now?
Say something.
Tell all those people in Houston hello.
Say something in
What are you going to
French.
tell all those Heberts in Houston?
Comment ça va?
Comment
Comment ça va?
What does that
He
mean?
knows what that means.
It sounds
He
Spanish.
does.
No.
French.
How are you?
How are
You speak the French? Parlez-vous français?
Oui. Vous parlez le français?
Oh, really?
Oui.
Where?
Oui. I lost him already.
Donde?
I
Donde?
So you used to, you interpret the French for the church over there, right?
I did. I used to teach French
Is that right?
in church. I don't anymore.
But you go.
I can read and write it, you know, because.
But the preacher now, he doesn't speak French, does he?
Oh man, he doesn't know anything.
But Uncle Kai, he spoke that French, huh?
Well, he preaches French most of the
Then,
Yeah.
when do you first remember her?
Just when.
Who is this we're talking about again?
This is Felice LaCour Hebert, his grandmother.
Well, yeah, and then.
She lived where?
Well, she lived in Houston
Well, yeah,
with
that
the
she
Monteros. See, they only had one daughter. There was 10 boys in the Hebert family and one daughter. And then she lived with Aunt Femi. We used to call her Aunt Femi, which she was married to John Montero Sr. And they had one child, which was John Montero Jr., but he died at about 34 years old. Pardoning of the orders or something, alcoholic too. Some, because John.
That was a
John
son.
Jr.,
That was the
yeah.
son of John
Yeah.
Montero Jr., huh?
And that, yeah, and I have never been able to remember Josephine's last name. That was his wife. He has a daughter, Catherine. Have you ever found Catherine?
Oh, well, we've heard about her, but I understand she is married, and I don't know
Well,
if she's
yeah,
still
she's
there.
married, but that's it. We don't know her name. I was hoping that maybe Scully or one of them could tell you.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've talked about her.
You know.
Yeah. Tom O'Donnell knew about her.
All right, he should know something.
Mhm.
But I mean, you know, Catherine got away. She didn't care nothing about family. She sold that state capitol house where Aunt Femi and Uncle John lived in Donaldsonville. She sold all that. She inherited all that, and she unloaded.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she gave it away. But that at one time that was a state capitol building in Donaldsonville, Louisiana.
Well, that was a long time ago, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But then it ended up to where Uncle John and them bought it, and they lived there. It was on the second floor. They had a first floor and second.
Now, your dad was Uncle Kai Hebert, and he had a church called Kai Hebert's Church, right?
No, well, I mean, somebody called it that, but I mean, it wasn't really that way. It was Church of Christ, Christian churches. But that was it.
But he started out going in the seminary, right?
Yeah, he stayed 3 years and started to be a priest, and then Grandma Hebert had to open up a boarding house at that day. You know, instead of motels and things, hotels, they had boarding houses where people would stay. You know.
Inside the house.
They had the
Rent a
meals
room.
and everything else there, and the room in the house actually. And so
That was at Crowley?
my dad's father was such an alcoholic to where the minute he'd get a nickel in his pocket, it went this way.
You know, it's like that, was it?
I don't know.
Because, I mean, he had,
I never
he had
did know.
13 kids. My gosh, he must have been...
I never did know it, except, you know, he died before I knew him, but he died in my dad's house. Nobody else would have anything to do with him. So when Dad married, you know, when my dad and mother married, well, instead of leaving him drag on the street drunk or something, they took him in.
How long did he stay with them?
I don't know. I don't know.
And so he buried him, huh?
Yeah, right there where I showed you in Robert's Cove, where you and I and Stephanie went, right where the gut was. Those two trees, my dad planted those right there. Where those moutons are buried, right there.
What were you saying? You said that he had a last wish when he was dying. What was about that?
He wanted whiskey.
He wanted whiskey.
Yeah, he begged my daddy and them to buy him.
on his deathbed, huh?
Yeah, he would die. He wanted more liquor. Dad wouldn't buy it. You know, he wouldn't know. You know, I don't know. You see, my dad worked as a clerk, and my mother's brother had a lot of businesses in Crowley. And they had a store, and he worked as a clerk with, you know.
So he worked and then he had a
worked
church
also,
too.
and he helped his mother running the boarding house, the boarding house, you know. And she didn't have no girl; she only had one, so she needed more help. So she made him. Well, she told him he had to come home from the seminary, so that's when he came
Oh,
back.
because she needed more money. Help.
She needed help. In those days, money wasn't like maybe like it is today.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't available.
You don't have a backlight.
So anyhow, it's a long story to everyone.